In retirement, I keep myself really busy, and so most days it's either off to play golf or to go to the gym. At the moment, my husband and I babysit Elsie, our granddaughter, on a Friday. That takes up all day Friday. Monday tends to be the day that I try and keep some free time for things like hairdresser, doctor's appointments, but the other days of the week are pretty full with the activities that I do. So when I retired, I felt after a few years that I still had some gas in the tank, so to speak. So I ended up joining an organisation called Read Right Now, and that provides volunteers to support or to be tutors for adults who have literacy difficulties for one reason or another. So I trained as an adult literacy tutor and did that for 3 or 4 years until our granddaughter came along, and then because we were late in terms of age coming to grandparenting, we are very committed to giving her as much time as we can without spoiling her. I've been going to the gym ever since I was in my 20s because I like to maintain my strength and fitness. But as I've aged, it's become more specific so that I can maintain my golf handicap so that I can still hit the ball a reasonable distance, because obviously as you age, your body becomes less strong. So my goal at the gym is specifically for golf. So I have a trainer who keeps me fit and strengthening those parts of my body and flexibility so that I can keep playing golf for as long as I can. Well, I enjoy the challenge of golf. I used to be a maths teacher as my very first job, so I like numbers. And for those people who don't know much about golf, there's a handicapping system in golf, and I used to be quite obsessive about getting my handicap down, but as I've aged, I've become very relaxed about my handicap. And so now I don't go there in a competitive sense, even though I still join in all the competitions, but I do find the social aspect of the golf club a really important part of my life. My husband and I do a lot of walking. In fact, a lot of our holidays are walking holidays in Europe, in Australia. So we walk for up to 4 or 5 days. So walking is a big part of was a big part of our recreation before we retired, and it still is.
In terms of looking at retirement and life after work, it is very important to keep social connections going. It can be long-term friends or making new-term friends through joining groups such as tennis groups, petanque, bowling groups, book clubs through a local library, or groups that even your children may be able to introduce you to. But it really is important to make some sort of effort to join in a community group where you do become part of a social network, because being at home on your own can be a long day. And unfortunately, as we age, we start to lose friends as well.
I think it's different for everyone. I've seen a couple of cases where friends of mine who've been very, very busy and haven't really got much of a plan on retirement, but they've managed to cope. And I've seen a couple of examples, one particularly recently where someone's retired after being in a full-on medical role, I guess medical specialist, and they are really struggling because that was their life. If I don't have a walk in the day, then I feel a bit caged up. So every day I'll go for a fairly decent walk. At least 1 or 2 days a week, that's golf. And other times it'll be walk to the beach or walk around Lake Clermont or do something. I've been a member of 𝐄𝐦𝐚 for years, and at various times I've stopped going. But typically now, last 3 years, I've been going and doing about an hour session, mostly on a bike, with a little bit of a weight program and then some stretching, and I really enjoy that. And really it was the golf club sitting down with the green staff and saying, well, what activities are you spending, you know, paid manpower time on that could be done voluntarily? And they worked out that by this group that I belong to working, you know, 2.5 hours on a Monday morning, we're probably saving one man in the gardening shed, chopping down dead trees, branches, weeding, all sorts of things that really that's unproductive time for the permanent staff. This group is very encouraging of social activities, and we've been on golf trips. We go out on a boat to Rottnest once a year, and so I think you've got to have a plan. You know, which whether you're like me, you're gradually wound into it, or if you go cold turkey and just finish on a Friday night and Monday morning you wake up, you're no longer doing what you're doing. I think it's important to have a plan and really think through what you want to do. And some of my mates have probably looked at that and decided, no, I'll keep working because that's my life. And they're happy doing that. But I've known others who've retired in their 50s and they're really happy with that. So it's so individual that, but I think you've got to be aware that you've got to make your own arrangements because you can't rely on others to do it for you.